introduce myself again or just start?
Yeah, that would be great for me, please.
Okay, thanks for being here today. I'm Eric Young. I'm the Deputy Chief of Police for the Ogden City Police Department. Unfortunately, I'm here this morning to talk to you about an officer-involved shooting we did have this morning here in Ogden. At 7:30 a.m. today, a customer dropping off a vehicle at a repair shop at the corner of 31st and Wall Avenue noticed the front glass broken out of the door of the repair shop and called 911. Officers were sent at about 7:31 and arrived within minutes. A single officer arrived by herself in the beginning. The officer encountered a male inside the business, concealing himself in a room. The suspect refused to follow commands, and the officer exited the building. The suspect attacked the officer with an item in his hands. The officer fired 2 shots, striking the suspect. Once the suspect complied with the officer, she immediately requested medical assistance and applied emergency life-saving measures to the suspect. The suspect was transported to a local hospital in what appears to be stable condition. The suspect has been identified through previous arrest records. He has no known address and is believed to be homeless. He is a white male in his 30s. Efforts are underway to locate his family, so his name will not be released until this has taken place. The officer involved in the shooting was hired by the Ogden Police Department in June of 2017. It is the policy of the Ogden City Police Department for an independent criminal investigation to occur into this incident. The Weber County Attorney's Office will conduct this investigation. The Ogden City Police Department will conduct its own internal investigation, independent of the Weber County Attorney investigation. The results of both investigations will be presented to the Chief of Police. The officer was wearing a body camera, and the incident was captured in its entirety. That video footage is now evidence in the Weber County Attorney's investigation and will be released after consultation with the Weber County Attorney. I want to thank the officers of the Ogden City Police Department for the professional way they protect the citizens of Ogden every day. I believe the actions of our officers averted what could have been a tragic situation for our officer or one of the employees of this business this morning. My initial review of the evidence leads me to believe that a theft of any equipment or money was not the intention of this suspect today. In closing, I would like to say to the public, unaddressed mental health concerns and drug addiction have consequences in our society. Individuals who are unstable due to addiction and mental health illness are dangerous to you and to those who protect you. There must be a greater effort on the part of society as a whole to mitigate this growing illness in our population, specifically our growing homeless population. If we want to reduce violence in our communities and reduce the number of life-threatening situations for our police officers and first responders to deal with in our community, it's something we've got to get on top of as a society. So that's my comments. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take what I can, understanding that there is an independent criminal investigation taking place and it's their responsibility to release specifics of that investigation. No, they were accessing items inside that business. There were items in that business that had been accessed by an individual and placed in a location by the individual that had nothing to do with what I believe was a theft or a robbery.
Like huffing?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I apologize. To be honest with you, I don't know what broke the window out, but it was a full-size pane of glass of a full-size front door, and the glass was shattered right inside the door. There was something in his hand, and there was items recovered at the scene. I'm going to let the Weber County Attorney's Office, when we review and release that body camera, describe what items were recovered from the scene and describe what the object was in there.
How far away is the officer from the man who fired?
Within a few feet from watching the video. She will be. She's right now just interviewing. There's a process they go through with the Weber County investigators. Once that's done, she will be on leave, and she'll remain on paid administrative leave, and will receive significant support from the police department through this. Individuals, I think, often fail to realize the consequences of these shootings for police officers. I realize this is tragic for the suspect's family and for the suspect. This is a tragedy for our police officers, and we've had far too many of these tragedies in the past couple of years. I've dealt with these for 28 years in a law enforcement career, and I've seen the effects they have on police officers over the rest of their career. So we're going to be there, and we're going to support our officers through this and get her back to work once the time is right.
Chief, given what happened 4 months ago, almost to the day, this has to be a huge relief. The last shooting you guys had did not end well.
Yeah, I thank God none of our officers were injured by all means. And obviously that's something that's on the mind of all our officers and all of us today. It's on the mind of a lot of family members of Officer Lydie today. I absolutely guarantee you that. But we've got a strong police department. We've got a strong support system. We have a strong peer support program in our police department. And we have a strong mental health and wellness program that supports our police officers. It's going to carry you through.
So Chief, what led the officer to decide to walk away and then
The officer was trying to get out of that business, and that's exactly what I would have done. Finding a suspect in that business and knowing that they're not complying with me, being there by myself, I would have got out of there and I would have waited for more assistance to deal with that individual. There could have been canine resources, other resources that could have come in and dealt with that situation. Unfortunately, the suspect didn't give the officer the opportunity to retreat and negotiate. They decided to attack the officer.
That happened outside?
That did. The attack began through the building and continued into the parking lot of the business.
So he was shot at?
He was shot outside the business.
You said you don't believe it was a theft, but what do you believe it was?
I do believe we had an unstable individual due to whether it be drugs, mental illness, something of that nature. He wasn't interacting or relating to the world in the same way any of us would. But this is a preliminary investigation. We're only going from initial evidence we see at the scene. We're glad that everyone's okay. We're glad the suspect's going to survive this. When I mention a criminal investigation, I don't say just a criminal investigation of the use of force by our officer. This is a criminal investigation of the actions of that suspect, and that suspect will be charged by the Weaver County Attorney's Office with the appropriate crimes when they're released from the
Do you
hospital.
believe what he was doing was drug related? The items he was getting, were they drug related?
There were no drug-related items in the business, but he was accessing items inside the business and laying them out that wouldn't be typical with a theft or a burglary, having investigated those over my careers.
Was there anything that typical?
Weapons and things of that nature were being gathered around the business. So we're going to release more information on the specific items when we release the body camera video, and we're going to identify that suspect at the same time once the appropriate notifications are
Was the person trying to get like paraphernalia?
No.
And where was the shot?
To be honest with you, I just know it was in the upper torso from seeing that where the officer was trying to treat the wounds, so it's somewhere in the upper torso. I believe so. That's the initial. We'll know that for sure, obviously, as part of the investigation, but initially it appears as if the officer fired twice. I don't know. I know he was hit. I don't know if he was hit both times.
You said gathering weapons.
There were some kind of sharp-edged, unique items in the office where the suspect left that wouldn't have typically been there.
Chief, what is your protocol in terms of a time frame releasing the body cam footage? Is it days or weeks?
So as I mentioned, this is going to be done in consultation with the Weaver County Attorney's Office. We feel very strongly that we respect that independent investigation by the Weaver County Attorney. It's of critical importance to us. So we will speak, as we have in the past, with the county attorney, and when they feel it's appropriate, as their investigation has progressed, to release that information, we'll do so. I feel it'd be very inappropriate to release it right now. We have interviews still to do with. We do not have a policy similar to some other agencies where there's a set time frame where we must release our body camera. We are committed to transparency. We are committed to releasing that body camera video, which we have in each case previously, and we will at the right time. It's not the right time right now. There's other witnesses to be interviewed, including officers, individuals who are employees at the scene. It would be the wrong thing to do to put that body camera video out there.
Can you talk about what kind of item was in his hand? Was it a
I don't
sharp
know
edge?
right now, to be honest with you. I know that there was an item in his hand. There's an item at the scene that's part of the evidence, and I will tell you that item will be described in detail when we release further information. I want to make sure I've got it right before I tell you what that item was, because it's not my investigation. I'm just telling you what I know from my going to the scene, my taking initial review from my command staff, and what I saw on the body-worn camera video that I viewed before I came to you.
Any more you can describe in terms of, was she like trying to run out of the store and he was following?
No, she
or
was
similar?
doing what we trained her to do, to back up in a tactical, safe manner, to get out of the way of a dangerous threat, but not running, not fleeing backwards, but backing out of the building as the suspects continuing to come out of the building behind her.
He was outside of the building when he got shot.
Yes,
And how long has she been on the force?
since June of 2017.
When
wasn't just these two at that point, the customer that called 911, how many people were on site?
There was only the officer and the suspect interacting at the front of the business. I do believe there were employees arriving at the rear of the business around the same time that this happened. So I don't think anybody was directly in harm's way where the interaction took place, but I think the customer left immediately after seeing that the business had been broken into, but there was possibly another employee behind the business. Anything else,
Thank
folks?
you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. We will get some more information out, and we will post the time to the next press conference when we have information about the suspect and anything else. Thank you.